Welcome back. Today is a follow-up, a summary, and a demo of the situation with the Delta Pros. And you can, if you watched my previous videos, if you hadn't watched my previous videos, that's okay, because I'm going to just go over everything today. And if you did watch them, hopefully this will be a little bit briefer and a little better organized. We'll see. And then I'm just going to, like I said, I'm going to extend the demo a little bit. So let's get right to it. Okay, here's an overview of what I've got. So there's a smart home, the original smart home panel. It's connected to 10 circuits in the house. They're all 120 volt. And I have two Delta Pros. These are the original Delta Pros. That one on the top, Delta Pro number 2, has one extra battery. And the one on the bottom there, Delta Pro number 1, has 2 extra batteries. And I have two problems. One is when these units are connected to the house via the infinity cables, they go from the Delta Pros to underneath there and plug into the smart home panel. When you do that, all of the AC outlets on the unit, both the ones outside here that are outputs, as well as the charging import port in the back, they're all disabled. So when it's connected to the home, it's connected to the home, and you can't really do anything else. Well, the one thing that's not disabled is the solar input. And on the back of the Delta Pro, one of the things it has a solar input. And this solar input is an XT60i cable, and it is, in the Delta Pro, it is limited to a max. It will accept a max of 15 amps, and 150 volts is the absolute limit. So given that, and so that's one problem is, what do I want to do if I want to charge this up while it's still connected to the house during the power outage? And the other issue is these plugs are a little bit, you can plug and unplug this, but you don't want to be doing it all the time, because if you push on it too hard, there's a chance that you could knock the connection loose and it'll fall down to the bottom, and then it's a bear to get it out of there. Okay, so what I've done then is I went and bought two things that people don't normally buy. Normally, if you have a solar panel and you want to extend it, you buy an MC4 extension cable, and then you connect that to your input port, your input cable that comes with your unit. Well, I went ahead and bought an extra XT60i extension cable. That way, both of my Delta Pro units, the solar inputs are out here on this little stand I built. So when I want to connect or disconnect a Delta Pro, all I have to do is unplug the plug here and plug whatever I want into it. And this is the plug that comes from the switching mode power supply, SMPS. And the other two plugs here, the other two cables that I've routed through here and they're plugged into right now, come from the solar panels. So I've got solar panels, and smart switching mode power supply. So back here, I have a switching mode power supply. And this unit is a 72 volt, 20 amp power supply, which is a good size for the Delta Pro, I think. And it's got connections for it takes AC power in, 120 volt AC power in, and it puts DC power, in this case 72 volts, out. And so that lets me then plug that unit into an external AC source, such as this old Delta Max. So if we turn the Delta Max on, Paul, turn it on. So I've gone ahead and I've turned the Delta Max on, and it's at 95% state of charge, and that's the extra battery, and the main unit itself is also at 95%. So the Delta Max is turned on. So if I turn on the AC, if I turn on the AC here by pushing that little button, the light comes on. The AC is now on. There's a green light. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you probably can. There's a green light on the switching mode power supply, indicating the switching mode power supply is now on. So now all I have to do is pick a unit. let's pick Delta Pro number 2, which is up here on the top. We pause it while I unplug and then plug in the other cable. Okay, so I've unplugged the solar panel and plugged in the other cable. Set the phone down while I did that. And now you can hear the fans ramped up. So what we're doing is Delta Pro number 1 is charging. And it's charging at just a little over 1100 watts. And then it's shipping some of that over to the extra battery that it's connected to. And it's doing that while it's connected to the house, which is, of course, really nice. Okay, so let's start the generator. This is an old Honda EU 2000. It's an older unit. It's rated at 1600 watts continuous. So we're going to open the gas tank. We're going to turn the unit. Turn the unit on. Turn on the choke, and probably pull it about 10 times. It's been sitting in the garage for a while. Okay, I got it started. Let it warm up for a second. I'll turn the choke off. I'm going to slip into the eco mode. It needs to warm up a bit before it can successfully run in eco mode. Okay, so now let me get let that run. I'm gonna go get a extension cord. Okay. Okay, so now the Honda's out there running, and we've got an extension cord here. So this green extension cord is coming in from the Honda. So let's take and find what I did with the charge cable. Here's the charge cable for the Delta Max. So go ahead and plug that in. Okay, so the charge cable is plugged into the Delta Max, and now I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, the extension cable. Between charging I can either charge via the Honda, I can use the Delta Max, I can use solar panels, I can use the EV. So I can do any of those things, and I can control it by plugging and unplugging here, so I'm not having to reach around the back or mess up the connection in the back of the Delta Pros. And I think that's about it. So the one lesson, I'll just repeat, the one lesson I learned was that if I'm charging with the Delta Pro, I want it, and I'm charging, I don't want to be charging the switching mode power supply via the Delta Max if I'm charging the Delta Max, because it'll ask the Honda for too much energy. So my options then are, I can charge the house directly from the Delta Max. I can charge the Delta Max directly from the Honda while the Delta Max is just sitting here. And then later I can turn the Honda off and use the Delta Max to get a recharge. Or I can charge the Delta Pros directly from the Honda via the switching mode power supply. And that's, as long as I remember all that stuff, I think that's going to work for me. And that is all for now.